Hey, gang, this is Andy over at the Facebook Live TV show, and I am psyched for this show. We did our very first, uh, I guess it'd be our first real show yesterday with Ryan Steinelson. Wow, I got that right the first time. That is rare. And it was a great show. Just the information that he shared yesterday just was so encouraging to me that this show, the Facebook Live TV show, is going to be great for anybody who is an expert or somebody who's looking to become an expert in their niche. Maybe you've written a book. Maybe you are a business coach or a personal coach of some sort. This is going to be the place that you're going to want to visit and stay tuned. So make sure and share and like and subscribe to the show. That way you know when we're going live. Like our show today with Will Irish, the legend of Facebook marketing. It is just, there's golden nuggets that are just going to come from the show, and you're going to want to make sure and stay tuned for this particular show. You could even share the replay. If we get done and you go, you know what, my cousin Vinny, who owns a pizza parlor, would really love to know how to do Facebook ads a little bit more effectively. You could share it with him and have him share it on his Facebook page. So it would just be a great thing for you to make sure and know what's going on. So I'm not even going to hesitate. I'm not going to even take too much time in explaining to you what the show is all about. It's simply about how to use Facebook Live effectively to build your reach and celebrity and your authority in whatever it is you're doing. And so we're going to bring on Will Irish today. And Will is the author and founder of the popular Facebook Insiders Report that's dedicated to keeping marketing professionals current with all things Facebook ads. As a certified coach, Will has served thousands of entrepreneurs and business owners by helping them design, launch, and optimize their Facebook ad marketing strategy across many verticals. He's also one of Clarity.fm's only 5-star rated Facebook ad experts and uses that platform to provide for the less fortunate in his local community. Fantastic. Will's passion for teaching has led to authoring more than 30 different training courses, books, and workshops since 1999. I did not know that. That's a lot. Being an early adopter to Facebook ads in 2007, Will now enjoys sharing his unique perspective and opportunity of the ad platform with audiences and clients around the globe. And there's going to be a link inside the description of this particular Facebook Live episode that you're going to want to make sure and click on and find out a little bit more about what Will was doing and what he has to offer. And so we're going to bring on Will Irish at this moment. Hey, Will, how you doing?
Man, I am great and really honored to be joining you on this Facebook Live. I couldn't have wrote a better introduction about myself. I mean, how awesome am I? That's just outstanding guest you have there. No, thank you so much for your kind words and just inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be with you, Andy.
Well, it was so great meeting you at the San Diego Social Media Conference. That I've seen your work as I've been in 22 Social, which you make a lot of appearances on that particular app and in their training. And it seemed like you're a super nice guy. And I wasn't really expecting, sometimes when you meet somebody in person and sit with them for a little while, you go, I thought they were nice. But you were actually you're authentic. And that's hard to find in the business world today. I'm in the dog business, and as you'll hear by the dogs barking sometimes here in the kennel, and finding people that are authentic in this particular business is so difficult and not very common. But you are, and I just really appreciated the time we spent together getting to know you. And so I'm honored to have you on the show.
Well, great. Yeah. And I would say the same thing right back at you. And actually, many of you don't know, Andy kind of rescued me because we were both speakers at the same event. And here comes Mr. PC with his personal computer that doesn't have the right adapter and all the slides that I had prepared for the event. So what does Andy do? Give me his MacBook Air so I can do my whole presentation. Met the guy, shook his hand, and took his MacBook Air. I mean, that should tell you what type of guy Andy is. So thanks, buddy. Never got a chance to say thank you for that.
No problem. I guess that is the shocking thing that I learned about you is that you're a PC guy. That was the big revelation.
I don't want. Can I just say I don't want to be? I am so old school. And I have so much business done on PC. I'm just one of those guys that I'm an iPhone away from a PC. So I'm a Mac rather. Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. We'll keep you on anyway.
Thanks.
So let's first talk about a little bit more about you. What is it that you do? What is your business right now? What is your focus?
Yeah. So I work a lot. I mean, tell me if this makes sense to you. There's a lot of business owners out there that, frankly, are confused around advertising, particularly on Facebook. We've gone from business owners that knew Google AdWords or were familiar with search engine optimization, maybe some yellow page advertising, and in a relatively short amount of time, small business owners not only having to run their business had to change the way they do advertising. And Facebook ads came on the scene and got ubiquitous really quick. So if you're familiar with the confusion that surrounds Facebook ads, as you can imagine, small business owners, that's who I serve. I serve Facebook business owners or business owners that are on Facebook that want to grow their business by coaching them. Now, I used to do done for you. Now I mainly do done with you. So I do live coaching. I'm a certified coach and trainer, and I just help them get their product, get their awareness out there using Facebook ads. And as we'll hear about on this show, it's a very different ad platform than every other platform that's been out there. So coaching is my primary source of business revenue when it comes to what I do with Facebook ads.
And one of the things that I found with Facebook, I'm sure others have, is that it changes all the time. How often does Facebook change things?
Well, that's the funny part, right? Because about 2.5 years ago, I had this idea of coming up with a newsletter that would be the most important updates that Facebook has. Because if you're the common entrepreneur that is trying to keep up with the world's largest network, it's really taxing. Thousands of changes are introduced each month, some to do with ads, some to do with the pages, some to do with their terms of service, new features, enhancements, Facebook Live, everything's coming out. So what I did was I started FB Insiders Report, which was really around Facebook ads, the top 5 updates that if we were to sit down and have coffee with, I'd want you to know about. And it's kind of more from there. So that's a monthly publication that I offer, so people don't have to chase blog posts. But you're absolutely right. The innovation is there. The brainchild is there, the money is there. They've got the ability to force things out and make them work, so to speak. And Facebook ads is no different. So they change from if I look back on some of the old ads, I was mentioning this at the conference in 2007. If I look back at some of those ads that I ran, oh man, horrible graphics, horrible copy. And as I've shared often, the greatest mentor in the world, being my wallet, has taught me really well what not to put out there in 2016. So yeah, it's been a journey for sure, and it's still evolving. So
yeah, it always will. I think now we're in a world now that we have to be constantly evolving. Yep. Just to catch up with some of the people that are joining us, if you are a participant and your mic and camera are muted right now, don't worry. I'll unmute you in just a little bit, and you'll get to spend your time with Will in just a few minutes. But Will, what is if somebody brand new, like there's people I know that can't stand Facebook, business owners that hate Facebook, and I'm telling them, well, you're going to have to learn to like Facebook if you're in business nowadays, because it's probably where your audience is. So even if you hate it as a social medium or whatever it is that what you hate about it, that if you're in business, you should use it. So let's say somebody's come on for the first time and just sits down and goes, what is it they need to know first, if that's possible, about running a Facebook ad?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think it's funny, because if you said to me in a paraphrased way, hey, Will, what's the number one reason new people are failing at Facebook ads? That's another way to maybe phrase that. Yeah. I would tell you it's that they're writing Facebook ads. And I know that sounds so counterintuitive, but if I unpack that for you a little bit, as I said, from Google AdWords, where people are searching for things, or from billboards or yellow pages, people have been taught to write really compelling copy. But what they haven't been taught when it comes to Facebook, they've learned pay per click through Google AdWords and things. But what they haven't been taught is that the crowd sees advertisements through a very different social lens. For the unknown and those that haven't run Facebook ads, the personal user out there is not interested and doesn't give a rip about you. They don't care about your ad, and they don't want to see your ad. And so it's a social platform where you literally are competing with relatives and friends and the updates that are going on that are important to them. And so what you have to do, if I was to say, here's the number one thing that you want to get your mind around, is writing ad copy is the wrong way to look at it. Yes, it's called ad copy, but what I'd rather people say is, let me understand the message that would be highly valuable to my audience and craft a message. Because once you understand Facebook ads as an amazing tool to deploy your message out there to thousands and millions of people to rally people around your cause, that's when you really tap into the possibility. So the number one thing I would say to a new person sitting down at a desk saying, okay, now what? It would be, let's get your message in a valuable framework. Stop selling the benefits, stop selling this. Let's start making value and not ads first, because you want them to get to the point where somebody sees your message, your ad, and one of two things happen. Either it's so relevant and valuable to them that they click on it because it was so relevant and value, or two, maybe they don't even think it's an ad to begin with because it's so relevant and valuable. So that's very different from the $19.99. Come on down. It's a very, very different sales pitch, because you're not really trying to sell on social. You're trying to educate. So
Right.
that's a long way to say value, not ads.
Okay. So video, pictures, or text?
Yeah, all of the above. I think I think there's a call to, or a good reason to have different parts of a funnel in Facebook ads. It gets very deep. There's a lot of things you can do. Video by far has the greatest traction right now. Even video, live video of what we're doing right here. The ability to take this and use this as content for an ad is extremely popular and useful, because people have been conditioned to consume video. YouTube has taught us how to sit through video after video. And so I would say video is a great way to get a short message out to somebody, making sure that you take care of the SRT, the whole headlines, subheads, or what would you call that, closed caption, so basically people can see it without the sound. And also there's a room for pictures. There's a time for a static image, a static picture, and getting people to click. The point of the advertisement, if you will, is to get the qualified click. It's not to get everybody to click. And that's what a lot of people believe, that they have to get their message out to the millions and hope they get the numbers game. I say, don't worry about the size. Worry about the accuracy and relevancy of the message, and people will click because they'll want to, and they'll follow that trail where you lead them.
And let me just go back to what you talked about with closed captioning. It's that's important, because when people are scrolling through and see a video running, that the words of what you're saying are being shown without them having to actually click on it to play the audio, right?
That's right, exactly. And so that is great, that when they actually had them playing there, and you click on it because you read something that seemed interesting enough, then all of a sudden you get the audio. But that's a huge, huge difference between a silent audio that they could scroll through with a thumb and miss right over your video.
The next thing is, what's the difference, or is there a difference between boosting a post and going to the ad part of creating an ad?
Yeah, an excellent, really good question that not enough people ask a lot, frankly. So first of all, when you boost a post, so to clarify for anyone that hasn't done it before, if you own a fan page, when you make a post to your fan page, most types of pages, you get that nice little blue button that invites you, boost this page to so many people will see it. Give them $20 or $50 or whatever have you, and people will see it. And so people go ahead, I call them the button smashers, right? They're just used to pressing buttons with their thumb. So they button smash it and boom, and they expect the return. It does work. There's some relevancy, and it's gotten better, but you lose probably 75% of your creative ability when you do it there versus the ads create tool. So there's 3 layers in which you can create an ad, right? If you think about it, there's the boost button. That's what you were just talking about. There's the ads create tool. That's one that most people would be familiar with if they go to ad/create. That's the basic generic interface. And then there's the deeper one. That's the power editor. That usually comes with the sound effect of some doom and gloom, even though it's not that bad. But it's definitely, each one carries a little bit more capacity to do more things. So as an example for you, why you would choose ads create over boost, you can exclude and include more audiences more definitively. And targeting is frankly the most important element of your entire ad anyway. So that would be just one example of why you would want to go into ads create instead of just button smash.
Okay. And not to put pressure on your screen, but at any time you feel that sharing your screen would allow you to even illustrate a little bit more, feel free to do that at any time.
Okay.
And so I think one of the last questions I have before we bring in some of our attendees here is that question. No, actually I have two because I forgot I had the pixel question.
Great.
The question about, well, let's go to the pixel first, and I'll jump into the other one later because I think that'll be a little bit more detailed. You told me at the event that asking about like audiences was a little bit more advanced. So let's first tackle the pixel thing because I think everybody sees that ability to add a pixel, and that's very confusing.
Mm-hmm. So you let me talk about what the pixel is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the Facebook pixel is actually more advanced than the like audience, but
really?
I'll give you that one. Yeah. They based on the crowd at the event, they wanted to make sure that the most people were fed. So I stayed away from some of the more detailed. But the pixel is so important. I actually have a saying that I'm coining, and I'm sure I'm going to trademark it if I need to. But I've said it actually for about 3 years now, that the pixel is more powerful than an email. And here's why. Facebook basically, this gets a little technical, but I'll try to make it application based for you without you knowing how to do it right now, because it's easy to teach once you understand it. So picture that you have a website and you're offering something on your, for sale. Could be a course or download. If you run a Facebook advertisement, you are given the ability to put a little piece of code, a little snippet of code in the head tag of your website or your app page, whatever you're using for your landing page. You have the ability to put a little snippet of code called a pixel. And that pixel, for all intent and purposes, I always think of the cattle tagging. I don't know why when they do that, but they basically tag that person as they have visited your page. So if you have a page about a dog training guide, for example, and they visit that page, potentially having that pixel on there, and they didn't opt in or they didn't purchase your book, but they did visit there, Facebook will allow you to capture that user. You won't know who they are, but you'll know that one person has visited your dog page in a bucket called whatever you want to call it, dog page visitor bucket. And all these people that visit that page are going to go into that bucket. Now, what's really great about that is oftentimes somebody will be in line at Starbucks, or they'll be surfing their phone at the bus stop or something like that, and they'll see something, they'll click on it, and they'll look at the page, and then something will catch their attention, and they go about their day, never to see that page again. Well, this allows you, now that you put the pixel on your web page, this allows, and it's invisible to the user, this allows them to then see another advertisement later on that day, or maybe the next day, that says, hey, you forgot something. Didn't you want to pick up our dog training guide? Or did you also see the bonus that we've added? And you can add different things to it. Hey, today, we saw you checking out our dog training guide. Did you also know we offer a 2-for-1 deal on Tuesdays? And you can download it today, and you can bring them back. But it's only going to those people that visited your page and those who have not purchased, because you put a purchase on the purchase page, on the thank you page. You also put a pixel, which is like your thank you page, right? After they purchase it. So you can do two things here. You can build up this audience of warm prospects that didn't convert, and then you have a customer list of people that did convert, and you're able to include and exclude on future advertisements.
Wow. That's the best explanation I've ever heard on pixels.
Really, and it really is that simple, but there's a lot more you can do with it, and this is where I might bring into that lookalike audience that we were talking about a little bit. Once you have 100 people in your audience, which isn't very hard with pay-per-click traffic in one country, let's just say you have 100 people that have purchased your book, and you had your pixel on there. Facebook will then allow you to create for free what they call a lookalike audience, where they will say, you'll pick, say, USA as the country, and they will look at the DNA, the makeup of every profile that converted on your dog purchasing page, and they will look at them, and within the top 1 percentile of accuracy, they will build you a list of about 1.2 million people that you could target with 1% accuracy, which is absolutely unheard of. So without any targeting, they will give you a lookalike audience. That's why they call it that, a lookalike audience, not of just your warm customers, but of actual customers. That is crazy cool when you think about it. It's like these are people that actually paid you money for your guide or opted in for your guide. And now here you go having a lookalike audience to target based on Facebook's brightest engineers putting together an audience for you. Really fascinating.
Wow. That is crazy stuff. Is there something you want to that I have not hit on yet that you want to talk about before I bring in our presenters?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I want to give you something of value to your group here. I would say as you think about how do I run Facebook ads?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I would say one of the things that you want to think about is, first of all, ask yourself what your ideal audience, and you should write this down, what your ideal audience would love you for. What is it that they would find valuable? Not what you think is valuable, because oftentimes, the eye is in the beauty the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So think about what they would find very valuable, and then really create that to give it away to them. It's a great way to make sure that your audience is actually fed what they want. And one of the ways that I do this is I'll use Pinterest. I will look at the most repinned topics on a specific topic. It could be Facebook ads or dog books, could be anything that I want to market. Pinterest will tell me what people voted on as the most valuable thing to them because they repinned it. That's like rebranding for themselves. So I'll use tools like Pinterest. I'll use Amazon reviews on books. I'll use different things that will give me indicators what's really, really valuable to them. And for me, for Facebook ads coaching, I found out that the most valuable thing I could probably give anyone is a targeting cheat sheet, which I actually use every day. My targeting cheat sheet, which is basically every targeting option that Facebook offers you at a glance, because then you can sit there and circle exactly who you want to target and then create a nice ad that really supports your creative. So lead with value, give that away to them, and build a list so you can keep communicating with them. And that would be my tips, my 4 steps, if you will. Find out what they would love you for, create that solution and give it to them in exchange for their email address, and run that ad to a relevant audience. So I hope that helps, Andy, a little bit. Just break down some of all the stuff that's thrown at us, right?
That is some really good stuff right there. Can they get that list from you by clicking on the link that is in the description?
They could get that probably at willirish.com/cheat sheet. That's one place they could get that. Certainly if they sign up for FB Insiders Report, right now I have a $1 trial, and then it's at $9.97. That's actually going up on the 15th. But if they write me, I can always send them the most updated copy of it. So either way, We'll make sure we get it in their hands.
Awesome. Cool. All right, we have 8 people on right now. That's pretty good. Well, 7. I'm 8. and I was bringing up the post, and I want everybody to know right now that what I'm using to broadcast is Blue Jeans, which some of you are aware of. Some of you are actually lucky enough to be using it right now. It's not available for purchase yet, and so I have to go to my phone to look and see the comments. And what they're working on, from what I understand, is the ability to have the comments in the platform itself, which will be awesome. So you heard me, unfortunately, opening my app and heard some feedback there. But Yael is on. Thank you, Yael, for joining us. She says she's excited about the show. Sandy Bouvier Ingram. And I only know how to say Bouvier because there's a dog named Bouvier. And I hope that I'm saying that correctly. She's watching Amaka Adendu. I think, how do you say that? I think that's how.
Yeah, Amaka, yeah.
Yep. Sandy Conquer. Andrew Lane is on. And Jim, which he said yesterday during the show, I would never be able to say his last name, so now I'm going to be Rubionis. And yeah, we're getting some likes. So yeah, go ahead and hit the hearts and the likes. Make sure you guys subscribe to the show. That way you guys get notified anytime we're going live. So the reason I brought up Blue Jeans is because I'm bringing in these cameras. You're going to see what it's going to be called the Brady Bunch view, where everybody will be coming on. We got Melody, we got Sue, Matt, we got Joni, I love Joni. Wilson, how are you? See the rest of your head. And we have a guest. We have two guests. All right. Hello, guest number 2. Recognize you from the social media conference. So I'm going to change the view here. So I just want you guys to see what's possible. We got this Brady Bunch view here. Then we're going to change it to Joni muted her mic, I think. Good. Now we're going to do active presence. And in active presence, whoever's talking is going to be up there on top. So let's go ahead and start. Since Melody was on first, do you have any questions for Will, Melody, or anything that we were talking about you would need clarification?
Yes, I have one question for Will, and that's with regard to the 20% rule for Facebook ad images. And now that that's gone by the wayside, and they've come out with these rather vague rules. How do you see that affecting people with their Facebook ads now? Because it's kind of ambiguous. There's really not a lot of detail to follow to make sure you've got it right.
Yeah. So Facebook ads being ambiguous, that's a shocker, right? So I would tell you this about the 20% rule. Honor it. I would say as much as possible, try not to have any text in your ad at all. That would be my professional advice. Again, looking at the reach that my own ads have, I would tell you that you will do far better having no text in there than you would have even 20%. So that would be my professional opinion.
Okay, so just go with an image that will reach the audience you want to reach and
let your text
has impact.
Yeah, let your text really be told above the let your text really be told above the ad if you're going to, and keep your text really light. It's computers, remember that. So computers are the ones determining this, but you can do a much better job if you reach more people with the right message than if you were to allow Facebook to give them reason not to show your message. So for those of you that don't know, the 20% rule is gone, but they have basically said, we're going to categorize your text that you have on your ad image based on heavy usage of text versus a good usage of text in 3 different categories. And they will actually hide your distribution of your ad based on heavy use of text. So my recommendation is use no text when you're able to, use light text when necessary, and then, of course, don't expect much when you have heavy use of text. Great. I lost your audio, but I think you said thanks, so you're welcome.
Yes.
Thanks, Melody. Well, are you muted, Andy?
We both had barking dogs going on.
All right.
All right.
I'm used to that with my audiences. So.
All right. Let's get Sue on here. Sue, what do you got for Will?
Well, thank you, Will. That was a terrific summary. Can you tell him something about lead ads? Because they seem to be somewhat different from the regular Facebook Power Editor ads. And I haven't quite got my fingers on that so far. I'd be really grateful for your information there.
Yeah, great question, Sue. So for lead ads, for everyone's sake, they are ads that are now allowed to run through the news feed that will allow people to put their email address right into an advertisement that you're running. So essentially, you don't need a web page or a landing page anywhere. You can capture and ask questions through their lead ads. So they call them lead ads because you're getting leads from your ads. So lead ads are those. Now, I have my personal opinion. Again, every opinion that I have is very objective. Well, subjective if you're coming from my wallet's perspective, but objective from my perspective. They have a couple of shortcomings, and I think they're going to go places down the road. But here's the story with them. Think of it this way. People are on social and they're surfing Facebook with a social intention. And so while you might offer something very valuable in a lead ad, they don't have much there to convince them. It's almost classified ad size compared to the rest of the stream that they have, right? So you don't have much qualification to qualify that person as being a great lead. And so you may have people putting in their email address and signing up for whatever you offered them, but the quality and the integrity of that lead, let's face it, when it was hard enough when we sent them to full-blown web pages and told them everything bonused out what they were going to get if they would just give us their email address, and now we're asking for it in this little classified ad almost in this busy news stream to drop their best email address. So that's the first thing. I would say the quality and integrity isn't at where it's going to be when you send them somewhere and give them the big picture. So that would be the first thing. Unless you're a big brand like Nike or something, they're gonna know. But if you're Will Irish and they just want and I'm telling them what they're gonna get from it, they really don't have the social equity that I carry with my brand to convince an unknown stranger that this is the best thing for them. So that'd be rule number one. The integrity and quality of the list wouldn't be as strong. The second thing is that you need third-party integration for the most part to get your lead ad capture over to your email list. So I use a tool called Connect Audience. There's other ones out there that do it that will help synchronize things. But if you offer, for example, I talked about my targeting cheat sheet at willirish.com/cheat sheet or something. But if that went through a lead ad and I offered that to them for free, and you put in your email, Sue, you would expect an instant email from me to get your cheat sheet. Well, with lead ads, Facebook only partnered with about 3 really big players in the industry to synchronize the lead immediately. But for the most part, those leads you have to download all of them and upload them every day, and then and only then will they get that free cheat sheet, unless you have a third-party tool, which is an extra cost. So those are the 2 knocks that I would have on lead ads right now, Sue, around I just don't think they have the traction necessary, and they cost about double to triple what a normal lead would cost me based on some of what I've run.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you again. So would you, that's like Andy said earlier, that's the best explanation I've ever seen, because I do have Connect Audience and things, but I was never sure whether to use a lead ad or whether to use a regular Facebook ad. What would make you use a lead ad?
I love that question. So I'm an experimenter by trait. I'll run ads side by side and look at it, which one performs. So for your market, they might perform better. What would cause me to use them would be the cost per conversion, so cost per lead in that case, and then also the cost per customer acquisition. Because if you're doing things right, you're not just capturing a lead for lead's sake. You want them to convert to a lower price ticket item up the road a little bit, right? So how are those converting for you over time? And the only way to do that is to test it. And so I use lead ads when I'm testing to see. So the best lead ad that I've run, and I'll just be transparent with you, $1.57 per lead, which is really good industry average for my industry, but still it's triple what I can get it to with a regular ad. So that's why I would use one.
Oh, that's fantastic. So really track and split test everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, one win's failure is another person's win. Yeah.
Thank you, Will, very much.
You're welcome.
Sue. Hey, I'm going to mute
Sue, I was going to throw one other nugget your way. With lead ads, they will allow you to create a custom audience of those who opened it, even if they didn't opt in, that engaged with that ad in the past 90 days. That's pretty cool. So they touched on your ad, they opened it up, then they decided, I don't want to put my email address in there. You can go back into your lead ad and Facebook, and you can make them put into one bucket in the past 90 days all the people that played around with your ad but didn't opt in. And that's a very warm audience to target with a regular ad.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's
Yep.
Whoa. Feelings down the back of the spine. That's fantastic. Thank you, Will.
You're welcome.
All right. So what I was going to say is that I've muted everybody's mics except for mine and Will's, and I mute mine every so often. But I should tell you this: anybody that's going to talk from this point on, all you need to do is push down your space bar, kind of like a walkie-talkie, and then you push down your space bar, talk, and then when you're done, release. And the reason being is because I'm not sure which mics I'm getting feedback from, but it'll just be helpful. I'm really busy over here. I'm sweating because I'm clicking on the mics and the cameras. And also, don't let me forget, Will, I got a question from Malcolm Scott on our chat on our Facebook page. But let me go ahead and be fair to Matt Thomas here. He's next on our list. So, Matt, what do you got for Will?
Hey, good to be here. Good to see you guys.
I see you.
Hey, Matt.
Will, I ran thank you for all you've done for me, by the way. I mean, you've really helped my business and my family a ton, so thank you very much. But I do have a quick question for you. I ran a post-engagement ad the other day on my fan page. Mm-hmm. Can I take that same ad or that same post now and target people in the market to buy used cars with the same ad, with the social proof, with all the likes? Can I do that?
Was it a post that was was it posted to your page as a public post, or was it a dark post that wasn't on your page?
It's a public post.
Okay, so it was a public post. Once the ad is run, you're able to then reuse it. You can't use the same one to multiple. Okay. Because it'll mess with the feed that you have on there, but you can go ahead and reuse it, Matt. So and actually the engaged audience, much like what Sue was asking with lead ads or found out about lead ads, you can do the same with your page post ad now. Those that are engaging with your ad itself, you're able to create engagement posts. So that's really, and get a nice little audience out of that. So that excellent question with that. Certainly.
Great. Right on. So, thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
I just wanted to I want people to understand, I actually used you as one of my students in the San Diego conference as an example of what it means to lead with value. I mean, I'll share real quick what we were able to do with what you do. So Matt is the owner of Truck Country TV, right? Truck Country TV, and he was trying to figure out how to sell car dealerships in a way that comes with integrity, because everyone goes in the lot and the flocks go running to them, right? And so they was trying to figure out, how do you use Facebook ads to win for dealerships? And so Matt took some advice, and we built a funnel around his ad, and using a 22 Social app, we put together a nice funnel. And what he did was he went to a dealership. Talk about lead with value, guys. There's a great lesson here. He went to a dealership. I said, Matt, is there anything that car owners would be really suspect of buying from a used dealer? And he says, well, one of the things is, Carfax report. They think that they're all it's factual. Carfax. Who would have thought it wouldn't be factual, right? So Matt went and he talked to the dealer, and he said, hey, I'd like to get you some promos, and I'll link over to one of your trucks, and but show us what to look for in a car, so I can show my audience how valuable it is to not have Carfax, but know for yourself what a dealer who's built to look for these things knows what to look for. So he filmed a video of Matt and the owner of the dealership going around looking at a specific car to figure out what to look for, and if you're in the market for a car. Not trying to sell anything, just trying to say this is what to look for if you want to avoid buying a lemon, because Carfax does not reveal what you're supposed to know. And so he put that together. He put it on his app. We ran some strategic ads through there. Matt Thomas captured 91 leads in 11 days. 91 leads in 11 days. Keep me honest, Matt. 91 leads in 11 days in the auto industry that wanted to click through and watch that. But after they watched that video, they wanted to take the relationship further because the value was there. Now they trusted him and the dealership that were involved. 91 leads in 11 days. The average cost per lead in the auto industry is $11 per email address. He got it at 90 cents per email address. And what's the big bonus on the end, Matt?
Well, the big bonus is the consumer gets to know what to look for when they're in the market. The dealer captures them as a lead. They can build trust, build the relationships for the dealer. And the consumer now has a contact person to that dealer, so they're not so hesitant about going to that dealer's car lot when they're buying a car. So we're only promoting honest dealers full of integrity, truth, honesty, transparency. That's the brand we have built, and that's the brand, that's who we're bringing on Truck Country. So it's a good, safe place to buy cars.
And through that funnel, as a result, what happened to the truck that you kind of featured?
Oh, it sold. It sold in a few days. It was like 2 days that truck sold.
That truck sold. So a $34,000 truck off of a 96.
$36,000.
$36,000 truck sold for a 90 cent per lead ad. I mean, that is outrageous when you put that back to it. So if you don't believe that lead with value works in any industry, there is living proof, Matt. So thank you for coming on. I love that story. I think that just happened not too long ago. We put that together, and you're working on a different one now, which is even better. So if anybody interested in learning how to deal with trucks and truck dealership, Truck Country Online TV, I'll plug you for that because you're doing a great job, Matt, with that.
Hey, thanks, Will. I owe it all to you, man. Thank you for you and 22 Social. I appreciate you guys. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was one of the big takeaways I had from the conference when you were teaching, was his story that you presented there. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, those of you, don't forget that you're just going to push down the space bar if you want to talk, and then release it when you're done. Next on the list on our schedule here is Joni Wilson. I noticed she turned off her camera. I don't know if she's being shy or not, but Joni, you have anything for Will today on Facebook ads? He's on the list. Joni. Oh. All right, maybe Joni take a break. All right, I have guest. So who is whoever I have who's guest who wants to talk? One of our guests.
It's me.
Who's this? Who's me?
Is it me? I'm listed as guest. I'm Sandy. Can you guys hear me?
Hey,
yes.
Sandy.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah. It was good to meet you as well this past weekend at the event that Will was speaking in San Diego as well, Andre.
Awesome.
But I'm not sure. My bandwidth's kind of low, so I'll be brief. Will has been helping me with some Facebook ads and knowing that I do video ads. And he's been helping me trying to grasp the idea of using Facebook Canva for doing ads. So I just kind of wanted to pick his brain, share a little bit about that as well, because I'm really starting to wrap my mind around that, because Will said it's the best next thing to sliced bread, quite honestly. So I just wanted to see if I can get Will to share a little bit more about why he likes Canva and why he thinks it's probably the best, next step for me to be running ads.
No way. I'm not telling you. No, I'm kidding. No, man, Sandy, I'm really proud of the work you're doing too. You are fearless in what you put your hands into, and I love that about you. But Canvas. Canvas. If you're not familiar with Canvas ads, I will tell you they are the silent next big thing out there. It's they will give video a run for its money, because video is so ubiquitous already and so many videos are out there. But Canvas is a very, very unique atmosphere. And I would probably say 1 in 10 of you have never experienced a Canvas ad in your newsfeed. That's how little people are doing them. So a little context, they were brought out in February by Facebook. They run on mobile only. And as you can see, I have the iPhone, I guess this would be a 6 Plus, pretty big screen there. It will take over the entirety, every pixel of the screen. It'll take over the entirety of your mobile, and you will actually be able to scroll through different slides, almost like a self-service kiosk, and people will interact with your ad. Here, listen to this stat. If this doesn't get you from the advertising world, nothing will. The average user right now, Facebook is reporting, is interacting with the Canvas ad for about 31 seconds. Now, that is crazy, knowing that people will abandon a page if it doesn't load within 3. They will interact for 31 seconds on average. That means that you actually have people much longer and much shorter at that stage, right? So 31 seconds on average. Facebook has also come out and said that since they launched Canvas in this year in February, over 150 years of content have been cumulatively viewed within Canvas. So why is that such a big deal? Number one, the attention of people to get Canvas ads in your for your user. It's a really unique experience. Thank you for putting that on screen. That's a slide through of what it looks like for Carnival Cruise. You can slide up and down in bite-sized chunks. You can go right to left. You can put different components in there. You can drop them off on a lead capture. They're amazing. But last week, about a week and a half ago now, Facebook announced the ability to actually do a custom audience based on people who opened your Canvas ad and people who clicked on something in your Canvas ad. So that is mind-blowing to know that people mess around with your Canvas ad, and then they did so for so long, and then they create a custom audience for you that you have the ability to target. That is a great, great feature. So Canvas ads, if you're not familiar with them, I've got a great course on it. Just go to my fan page, Coach Will Irish. On the left-hand side, I wish I knew my own URLs. I don't, but I actually gave it to my insiders, but I'm adding to it with this new addition, and it's down below. It says Canvas Ads Training. You can see it, how I designed it from nothing to a real live one, and how I created it, just to give you an idea of how you can do it for a small brand. It's an amazing platform, and I definitely want people. Again, raise your hand if you've had one come through your newsfeed. Not many people are using them.
I've not had one.
Yeah, it is so cool for you to. And when you're designing it, when you're done designing it, you can send it. Facebook will send it right to your phone, so you can test it on your phone and see how it looks. I mean, within 1 second. So it's a really great ad atmosphere where people are fully engaged. And see how each one of those slides through. You're seeing onions, now tomatoes. Well, think about it. You can have bite-sized blurbs where people can digest slowly but surely without an overload of what do I see first? What am I missing on a page? You're giving them exactly what you want to see when they want to see it, and then the drop-off leading to the last page, wherever you want to send them to. So Canvas ads are huge, Sandy. I love that you're on it. And I love that you went through the course on it as well. I think it's going to serve you really well, especially with the new custom audience features.
Here's one back to Matt's story, is that if you're looking at this one right here, if you had a car that you wanted to quickly advertise and show the interior, exterior, and components, it's all, you can do that all right there in the ad.
Yeah, you can do video, you can do panned ads, pictures, all those different components. I have some best practices I share in my course, some things that look kind of ugly in a Canvas ad, but it really is a designer's world when you get in there. And Andrew Lane, he's got some great Canvas templates as well in Design Hacker to help get you started. And I know that coming soon, Facebook just announced it last week that they're going to preload some templates in Canvas ads. So they are investing heavily and this functionality, Andy and Sandy. So it's a really, really cool atmosphere.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Now we got some. Sandy, have any more for Will before I let you go?
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick that Will kind of shared a secret sauce with me at the end that I'm not sure if I do want to share it because Will likes to give and he's been giving to me. So one of the things he's suggested me using Canvas for is because it allows me to do both, some of these static slides that I've also been playing with, as well in the end where I can attach a video message on the end of that as well. So I just want to say it's a good mix, and Will's just been on top of this and just helping me to think forward for not just for myself, my clients as well, but just wanted to throw that out that, it has a mixture. It's not just the slide aspect, which is also a feature that's inside the Facebook ads, but the fact that you can, create those little slideshows and at the very end leave a nice little video message. So I just wanted to throw that in and thank Will for that because I've been playing with it quite a bit and I'm excited about using it. So appreciate
Awesome.
it, Will.
Hey, my pleasure. Good to see you, Sandy.
Thanks for joining us, Sandy. It was great meeting you last week too. All right.
Meeting you too, and hang out with you and who are we standing there with? Ryan Steinolfson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
His last name's Steinolfson.
What was that tall guy that was standing?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Sandy, nice meeting you. All right. We had a guest washing dishes. Who's our guest that was washing dishes?
That's me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you instead of the dishes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm
Who
new
is
on
this?
this platform. This is
That's
Pat
okay.
from New Jersey.
Pat?
Pat from New Jersey, part of the
What do you got?
22 Social crew. How are
Nice.
you?
Outstanding.
Thank you. I had two questions actually. One of them is around how might you apply these new technologies as far as marketing a gym. I just picked up a fitness club client, and I wonder if you have any kind of examples, best practice around that might make sense.
Yeah. So the very first thing I think when you talk about Facebook ads is you only want to run an ad that brings value to people, right? So one of the things that I would work with the gym owner in particular is what is it that is a dire need that your clients need? People don't go to a gym for any old reason. Usually it's because they've been told to by a doctor, they're avid workouters, or they're on a challenge of some sort. There's a reason behind there. And so I just nailed 3 segments within markets that would respond differently to different ad types. So it's really important to understand that you're talking to a slew of different rationales behind growth at a gym and understand each one deserves a specific message to be heard, to actually take action. If we don't uncover that, we potentially could be talking to the wrong message. So when I'm targeting, I like to use qualifiers, Pat. Like, for example, if somebody was interested in The Biggest Loser, which is a very popular show, you generally are going to attract people that love the transformational, aspirational stories and are maybe attempting to lose weight rather than build bulk at a gym, right? Whereas if they are subscribed to Buff Magazine or something like that, or they have a copy of me on their desktop, they possibly kidding, they possibly would be interested in building muscle and lean muscle and potentially be those bodybuilding championships. So there's a very different message that would go to 2 different demographics there. And once you square away from the gym that, hey, who are your customers? Where's the breakdown of this? Because they have all that detail when we sign up. I've signed up for gyms and I remember putting in my information. I would find out that nice breakdown. And the best copywriters are your clients. Always remember that what they say about their product and why they're signing up is absolutely the value benefit to bring back to them and meet them in front of them. So segment your audience message would be number 1. So you're talking to very specific ones. 2, make sure that you are talking as one of them and you're talking to a person and not a thing. I know that goes without saying, but in the advertising world, one thing that people miss, this goes for anyone running on Facebook ads. People oftentimes they say, let me go ahead and run people interested in this. And they group these people in as if everyone watches around one computer. They don't realize this is a real human being reading that ad. And what you write to them applies to them, or they apply to themselves. And so when you can appeal to the heart, the emotion of that person directly, you are going to see greater ad credibility and click through than you ever would is if you wrote amazing corporate copy, because now you're connecting with them directly. And so segment your audiences, write personally to them, and work with your gym owners to figure out what they're attracting, what's been really the big pushover for them to attract. And lastly, I would say retarget, pixel them where they land. If someone pixels themselves, I said this to a coaching client last night. I'll make this really quick. If you ran 10 headlines or let's just say 5 to make it really simple, 5 headlines through an ad, and one was about being, pumping iron and being really bulked up like that. Another was about losing weight. Another ad targeting was about, senior people with diabetes or existing conditions. And you have articles, blog articles or Facebook notes or something like that, that would be really well qualified for them. By pixeling people with those articles, you're putting people in buckets, so now you know how to talk to them. So I often will categorize people by what they click on in an ad, and I now know that this group of people are very interested in buffing up, and they're not trying to lose weight. They're actually trying to gain weight through muscle mass. So they're never going to respond to my my targeting of the Biggest Loser or lose more weight. Actually, they're going to respond to protein fails and top protein fixes and how to add muscle mass, that sort of thing. And so by bucketing people through pixel technology, very, very, very helpful. That's why the ROI is made through retargeting, Pat.
Okay, cool. And then I actually went there this morning and I did Facebook Live, and I stood outside the door because it's a pre-grand opening. So awesome. I stood outside the door and I just pulled people over, anybody that would talk to me, to get them to start using their words, wow. Sweaty. It was great.
That was awesome. That's
right. Good. So my next question is about this format that you guys are using. This is Facebook Live within Blue Jeans?
Andy?
Is that true?
Yep. Well, Blue Jeans has 2 things. Blue Jeans is like a GoToMeeting, one of the other platforms, just like that, Zoom or something like that. That's that one thing. And then they have the ability to go on Facebook Live. So it's 2 different things. But you originally log on using the Blue Jeans, and then they have the option now that you can log into Facebook Live. So it's additional. So if you have Blue Jeans and you own it, you don't necessarily have Facebook Live as an option.
Yeah, that's but I want to figure out how to get the Facebook Live part, because the ability to interview multiple people. I thought about doing a show like this and have them interview people, right? Guests.
It'll be available soon. I'll try to post a link where you can request a 60-day trial. And you have to apply for it, and then it takes a little while for them to approve you. Yael, who's going to be asking a question next, it took her a while. No, actually, I think we got you in pretty quick. I went in and just told them I was the greatest person on Facebook Live ever, and they believed me, and I got on right away. So that's how I did it. But other people have had to wait a long time. Will, I think you said you just got the approval to be able to test it out. So
yeah, I just got
and that's to Blue Jeans or to Facebook? Yeah. Who approved
through
it?
Blue Jeans.
Blue Jeans. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll try to post a link in this in the replay for you to follow.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. One question I had based on what you were talking about with Pat is that you were saying posting articles in your Facebook and that kind of stuff. Is there a difference, or what are the rules behind taking somebody else's content from their Facebook page or Pinterest or Instagram and putting it in, as opposed to writing your own stuff and pictures and things like that? Is there a benefit to doing one or the other, or should you never share somebody else's stuff?
So around creating a lead magnet, I assume you're asking?
Just anything, like you were saying, just developing, interest in what it is you're doing. Is it going to take them off of your Facebook page if you put somebody else's stuff on there? Is that not something you want to do?
I see what you're saying.
Or should it be only creating your own stuff?
Well, I would say always create your own stuff for sure,
Mhm.
and because you want them to go through your funnel in particular. But what I like to do is shortcut the system. So by shortcutting the system, I mean go on Pinterest where people have already raised their hand and said, "Hey, this is." They love the article. They've got like 30,000 repins to how to run my first Facebook ad versus 10 repins for how to spend $5 a day on Facebook ads. So to me, I now know the title that's really attractive to the
Okay,
crowd. So I borrow the content idea and then create my own content for it.
perfect.
And what I'll do is just make that. So that's one of the ways I short circuit. I do it with multiple platform, Twitter search, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get to you next, y'all, in just one second, but Malcolm asked a question first. So let me
Okay. All
be
right.
good to him. So Malcolm Scott asked, hi from the UK. Question for Will Irish. I'm targeting people who are engaged to be married to get
Okay.
them to register to our wedding expos, but the relevancy is coming out at 1 or 2. Any ideas? And what does that mean?
Hey, Malcolm. Thanks for joining us from the UK. Nottinghamshire, I think it's pronounced something close.
Okay.
So let's say relevancy score. Let's start with that. Relevancy score is a score that Facebook gives you based on how your ad is performing. So to get they basically rate your ad on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most relevant, one being you're not very relevant to your audience, and it's probably the wrong name for it. But what they do is they score it based on how many people hide your ad, because you can hide ads for certain advertisers, or they don't respond to it enough, or they report your ad. That's how your ad relevancy goes down. It may not be reporting, it might not be hiding, it could be just that people don't respond to it. So your score takes a dive, your cost per click goes way up, and relevancy score is a good thing to watch because it does dictate how much you end up spending for a qualified click. So that's what relevancy score is. I don't think it's perfected yet, but it's a great question, Malcolm. So you're running it to people who are engaged to be married, and it's for a marriage expo, but they're getting a relevancy score really low. So we have to think back a little bit um, to what is it that they are reading and what is it that they are seeing. So I don't have specifics in front of me, of course, but when I'm asked that question without all the details, some things that I would ask myself would be, so when I target these folks in particular, are they able to make it to my expo, geographically able to, and are they not already married? Did they potentially not already get married because they didn't update their Facebook profile because for one thing or another? Did it cost them money to get to the expo? And is there a step before getting a call to expo where they could potentially give them something good where you build up trust, know, like, and trust value? So an example might be um, top 10 wedding cake designs, or top 10 first dance list for father daughter, or something like that. They have those here in the US, and give them something that they can immediately solve the problem, where you also have their interest, and you can present a video about the expo where now you've got their lead, and potentially you now have guaranteed that they are set to be engaged because they downloaded a first dance song playlist, or a potential wedding dress or wedding cake design. You just basically want to vet the person to make sure that they indeed are the right market for it. Because if they are and they take a small freebie step, now you're guaranteed you're talking to the right people. What a great opportunity to present a venue of a wedding expo to them, which would be highly valuable to them, as you know. So those are just some tips. I'd have to look at the ad copy in particular. I guess my closing thought on that, Malcolm, and maybe you want to shoot me over the ad separately after. But the idea of just spinning the ad around and looking at it from the person who would look at the ad and say, why would they find that to be less appealing than anyone else? Is there something I'm not seeing as the advertiser? Because I promise you, it's always there. My wife is just starting to get involved with advertising, And so I'm constantly critiquing her, and she critiques me. And we need that in each other's life, because as the advertiser, I think I'm the bomb, but she thinks I'm the bomb that exploded. So she's my ground, and she makes sure that I'm speaking with a little bit more, hey, is this what you're trying to get across? Because maybe you want to rephrase. So we sometimes can be our own worst enemy. And I'm not saying that's your case, Malcolm. You're actually a pretty decent copywriter from what I've seen. I'd say just really spinning it around to make sure that your market has a reason to find that valuable. And
just in case it changes anything, I'm sorry, just in case it changes anything you're talking about, he says the expo is free. He's targeting within 25 miles. Okay. We get likes, shares, comments, etc., using photos, videos, and 22 social.
Okay. So what would be the biggest benefit of them going to that expo? And that's what I would lead with. And awesome. one of the things you might want to try, because it sounds like you're doing great. Like I said, that was really sharp. What I would do is take the actual video testimonial or a quote with text testimonial and put that above the ad image, and put the testimonial of the client and allow that to be your entire ad copy about what somebody else took away from one of those expos. That, again, customers speak louder than advertisers. So
cool. I like that Andrew Lane is on, because we've mentioned 22 social about 10 times, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yael, just one second. I'm getting to you, Yael. I wanted to say hi to a couple people. Juan the Creative is on. Bruce Jones. Juan. Yep.
Hey, Bruce.
Leon Romo.
Great.
Libby Webb.
Look great.
Donna Bonaparte. Wow. That's a pretty cool name. I wonder if she's related. Anthony Forrester. He's late to the party. He was just wrapping up a live training. Josette Williams from Vancouver. Don Jordan wants to know what we're using. We're using Blue Jeans, and I'll go over a little bit more about Blue Jeans at the end, because we just got done talking about it. But that's what we're using. And Andrew Lane gave us a little angel and some hearts, I think. Awesome. All right, Yael, go ahead and hit your space bar if you want, or however you want to go ahead and ask Will your question. Yael is fantastic. She's part of our mastermind group called the Masters, and she is a great contributor and has a great service that she provides for families. So go ahead, Yael. Oh. Nope, can't hear you. Hold on. Let me try and unmuting you myself. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear now?
Yeah.
I can.
Okay, good. Yeah. Hi. So actually, I'm not asking about my special ed advocacy business, but this could be a new client if I could figure out how to do it. But I really just want to sell my home, and my realtors, none of them know how to do this stuff. So I live in a college town, and the three groups of people who would potentially buy are families of students, and most of them, I think, although I'm in Colorado, they're in California, and are sending their kids. So they are being told you should really buy a house by the school, but also investors who want to rent, and also people who actually want to live here. And I live in a really desirable city, but we're going through this housing lull. And I was wondering how you do this.
That's a great question. Oh, do you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So you're trying to sell a house on Facebook ads, which is awesome. I love that. That stuff says nothing is too big. Hey, if we could sell a truck, we could sell a car, right? Very interesting. So I think the first thing is, all the targeting features that are out there, probably about who might be in the market for it. And then you can do some geographic placement for them as well, around what they might be interested in. Do you get involved? Are you a real estate agent, or are you just a for sale by owner?
I have a real estate agent, but the firm doesn't know how to do this, and I don't see anybody doing it. They created this nice video. I'm on the listings. They do other basic stuff, but I'm also not sure who I would target. I know who I would target to. Finding that on Facebook has been really tricky for me, that I'm not sure what exactly who I'm targeting. Well, I know who I'm targeting. I don't know how to get at them.
Okay, so that's a great question. So that's why this is so beaten up. and it's my targeting cheat sheet. And I don't know if you can see that, but there are things in here around housing and demographics, psychographics that I literally will circle them. So if people have families and there's children, and are they buying children data, or is there a little feedback in there or no? Okay.
I'll mute her mic. Go ahead and mute your mic. Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. I heard my ugly voice talking. I still do.
There, it's
so
gone.
I'm not sure what was. All right, thanks. So I was going to say that when you look at it, relationships, and you start to dig down in income, what income bracket would they come in, and what are they in a relationship, or are they new to a relationship? So you can get to virtually anyone. 1.71 billion people, and Facebook has all of the voluntary filled data on there that you'd potentially want. So it's a matter of actually seeing it in front of you. This is what I see most people do, is they go into the ad to create, and they start selecting drop downs, and they start selecting one thing or another, and forgetting that this would be fantastic. People who are paying for real estate magazines, or and also are renters right now, or that might throw a hint their way. So there's different ways to target people, and then there's a flat out geography. I was speaking with a well-known real estate expert just yesterday for 2 hours on a coaching session, and I was sharing with him that he's in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and he had a similar question, I think it was, but we were talking about how do we make this work, and I told him not to be afraid to pepper the area with different messages, with geographic area. So you can put a nice circumference radius around this area of living in, and potentially run 4 or 5 headlines that would be very different, much like we're talking about the gym. That would be very different. Like you're talking about parents telling them they should buy a house, they're graduating school, or some people are looking for foreclosures, or some people are looking in a very cool neighborhood like the one you live in. Some people might be selling their home. You can target those, and using all of these qualifiers. I don't know what they are. I made them up off the hand, but you could come up with some really good headlines that would separate out buckets of interest, and then using that first splash ad, I'm going to call it that, with a headline to determine what those people want to see. So what that might look like is 200,000 people might see this ad that say something that leads you to believe that they're graduating college and they're getting engaged and potentially would buy a house. They would see a post on that, right? Then the next ad would qualify them for they're selling their home and they want to move to this area and they've recently visited there. That's something that you can also target. So what I'm trying to suggest here is that you actually let people qualify based on the headlines that you run geographically, that they would then isolate themselves as potential targets. So that video on that house that has all that cool imagery would look really great for them to go out there and show them what you have to offer. And you could speak more directly to them. Like, I know you're graduating school soon, and this is a house that's going to be, you target males only. She'll love you for this. You target females. He'll love you for this. This is a ways you can break your arguments into segments and attach a little bit more affinity to it. Does it work for a house? There's work there to be done. It's just starting with a wide net, narrowing them down, and using targeting to isolate your message so you speak more relevant to them, because conversions come with relevancy.
Wow. Go ahead. You have to unmute your mic. Yeah.
I have to do that after the key, space key?
You can hit the space key and just start talking.
Okay.
They wouldn't let you.
My other audience is the people from college. It's the kids who are freshmen almost this year, the freshmen and sophomores, where the parents don't want to pay for rent for the next 4 years or 6 years, they're telling them. And a lot of those parents are out of state, but a lot of them are in California, although I'm in Colorado. So, and I haven't figured out how you get the parents from that university. It's a huge university. So we're looking at, I don't know, 5,000 freshmen probably.
Okay.
And
So
it's coming up, they're being told by December that they should have next year's house ready.
okay. So I think that's really cool. So you've got the storyline, definitely. The parents want out of this deal. So you've got the story. It's how do I get the ad to show up in front of the parents of these people, right? So I would first look at first of all, California. I happen to be past Coloradian. Is that how you say it? So I happen to know that there's something like 75% of migration comes from California. So you probably do well with some California targeting, period. But also, if you were to take state by state and you were to say the age range of kids who are in college, in the age range that they're in, and they have kids who are in college, and you were to absolutely go state by state down there, those two things might be a wide enough net to start narrowing them down. All you're asking for is a raised hand to filter the rest out. And so you're able to state they definitely have kids going to college, and they definitely aren't in California, but the parents live there. So you could take the larger states and start to target some of them. You can also take the ads and run them to students around getting their attention to sell mom and dad. What could you say to them that would sell mom and dad on potentially a property there that that they might be interested in sharing some of that? I don't know what it would look like, but it might. I'd be careful with it because they'd go to town. But I think there's something you could probably tell them that would help identify where they are. So, is it a state college or is it a?
It's University of Colorado in Boulder.
Okay, so it's not a state. So
What?
it's not a state. It's not a state college. It's public.
Well, it is state university, but it's huge.
But it's private though, right?
No, state.
It is state?
It's state, and there's 25,000 kids that go there.
Yeah, I'm
In all,
embarrassed to not know.
yeah, University of Colorado at Boulder, it's huge.
Yeah,
So
no, that makes sense. Okay, so they're probably out of state than sending people there on scholarships. I probably would get a nice breakdown from the university on where their students come from. They can give you a state-by-state breakdown on a percentage, and I guarantee you'll see some pie graphs fill up from certain particular states, and name the top 10 and start going them. Because once you now know the home state, now you can target only moms of kids who are aged blank to blank, who are going to college, and you're able to talk about you're able to just define them a little bit more, you know what I mean? So, but I think the school might be a good start for you to find out where they're bringing people in from, because they're recruiting from all over the place and know where they're heavy. If you in big numbers come from California, what a great place to start.
Lance Whipple says he says collecting buyer leads who will eventually buy a similar home, easy, exclamation point. And then he also said selling a specific home, target realtors with lists of buyers. Does that make sense?
So Lance is I know Lance, he's a real estate agent. I hope I don't get that wrong, Lance. And out of market, but he's got some very unorthodox, very creative ways to look at selling homes. I know he does things in the Florida area, but around finding the homes, talking to the parents, I think you have to first unearth where they are, and if you don't know where they are, then you at least know what they are and start using some of the qualifiers. So, did the parents go to school? Probably, if their kids are. There's probability there, but I would start with the school to tell me where they started from. It's important. Their parents are on Facebook, so.
Wow, that was some good stuff there. I could listen to that all day. Let's see if I missed anything. Renee Banuelos joined us
Yeah,
towards the end.
great.
Thanks for joining. Malcolm said final comments for him because he has to leave is Will Irish rocks.
And, I like your final comments.
And said, Andy, we just met, but I'll be following Facebook Live TV show from now on. That's awesome. That's right. So all of you that appreciate what I've done for you today could give me hearts and some thumbs up for the show. That'd be awesome. Also subscribe and share. I'm almost kicking myself that I didn't set up a 22 social and charge $500 for this 1 hour with you, because I think it was worth more than that. This was more than I could have expected. And you've just been so fantastic. Well, I cannot say enough. I know I said at the beginning, you're just an authentic guy, and just you give like crazy.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting you and hanging out with you a bit in San Diego. And man, thank you for putting this on. I can't wait to get started with it. If you guys want to learn more about Blue Jeans, this is the guy. I mean, he's making it happen, and I know. I can't wait to see. I haven't had the chance to actually play with it yet, but it's coming. I promise.
You're gonna have a good time.
I might be calling you, but
no problem.
Andy, thank you so much for having me on. It's been an honor, man.
Anytime. If anybody has any burning questions they want to ask, well, just go ahead and put them either in the comments or contact me. I'm hoping that this won't be the last time I have Will on the show and can bring you back. Can I get a commitment for that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually was going to have you on FB Insiders. I told you I'd love for you to talk to them, because what a lot of people don't know is you can take the live, which is great content. It doesn't have to be this long, but you could take the live and then run it as an ad. Or even Sandy, who is one of our guests here, he's actually done that where he's chopping some of the video up and using them as individual ads. So there's a great way to repurpose content here. And I would love for my crowd to hear from Andy and how you're doing that. So thank you. It's been a pleasure talking with you all today.
No problem at all. We're just so happy to have you on here. So just as I promised, I want to say again, we're using Blue Jeans. It is a new application that just came out a couple weeks ago. So it's very, very new. Blue Jeans has had a platform like a GoToMeeting type of situation or Zoom that has been one of their customers is Facebook. So they've had Facebook as a customer since the beginning. This Facebook Live aspect is a separate app within the tool that you will purchase separately at some point when they come up with a price and all that other stuff, which they've been working on since we've got on. So we're in talks with them, and I've been connecting with them personally, myself and another gentleman that runs the Masters, and Yael and Sue. Are you in to just shake your head yes or no with Blue Jeans yet? Yep. And so Sue's been in there too, and we're talking to them, and we're hoping that they're going to make it affordable for the little guy, and make it. It's an awesome platform. It's very clear. When we conclude this particular broadcast, Blue Jeans actually makes a recording and gives you the URL for the recording that you can also download the recording to your laptop and reuse it, like Will was talking about. You can actually you can break it up and use it however you want, and it's the greatest thing. I don't even know what to say about it. When it came out, I was on the horn with them as fast as I possibly could, and like I said, I literally told them that I was the main person on Facebook Live that they needed to connect.
I love that.
I lied completely. And they believe me. And they like my microphone. They saw the microphone. You got to be a pro with a microphone like that.
That's right. I was gonna say one last thing. I lured you in chat, knowing, because I heard your story. Anyone who has not heard Andy's story, just around his days with the canine force, it's such an awesome story. Anyway, I told you that the best ad I've ever seen on Facebook to date, and I've been doing this since 2007, was done. It wasn't about a dog, but it was heavily involved the dog. I'm going to send that over to you. You can share that, but it was an advertisement, and you wouldn't necessarily know, but it was the best ad I've ever seen on Facebook. It made me emotional. and it's really phenomenal. And if anyone wants to just dissect what this person did with the ad, you'll learn so much why people love to discover on Facebook, but they hate to be sold to. I discovered that ad on Facebook, and I was absolutely blown away. And I'm going to share that with you, Andy, and I'll let you share that with the audience as you see appropriate. But it's not going to do anyone good except for the people that ran it, but they deserve the props. It's just outstanding because, as I always say, people hear about 1% of what I say, but 100% of what's important to them. And when I come across this ad, when you see this ad, you're going to know, Andy, you'll resonate with this ad. And it changed my life in a big way. I'll tell you how offline, but I'm anxious to share that with you.
Well, I got to end it on that note. Those two things you just said right now were awesome. So, Will, again, thank you. Great. All of you that are watching or watch the replay, please share this and like and subscribe. That would help us out to continue the show. I'm going to continue to work with Blue Jeans, and I'll bring you any updates that we have as we go. They're doing an integration with Facebook Live, and they're trying to bring chat into the platform so I don't have to keep going to my phone and look. And just really appreciate your time, and we will see you at the next one. Next week I'm going to have a book editor that fits perfectly into what it is that we're talking about. So just stay tuned for Facebook Live TV show.com, and you'll get the details on when that show is going to be on. All right, thanks again, Will, and thank you all. I will try to make sure and because there is a chance that I could leave you on. So don't go picking your nose or doing anything for a couple minutes until I've got you off the screen. All right. Well, thanks again. Take care.
Yep. Thank you too.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.